Hello and welcome to LIS 4317, Introduction to Visual Analytics. Before I start talking about what is visual analytics and what does it entail and why is it so important for you to take this class in today's environment, I would like to go over the syllabus to make sure that everyone understand and have better understanding of the syllabus and what it requires. We have 3 textbooks in this class. One of the textbooks that I added is free to download, and you'll be able to do that. I provided the link below, so you will be able to download the textbooks. It's written by European professors, so it's maybe the English is a little bit strange, but I hope me going over that will make more sense out of it. The other 2 books, the first one is Stephen Foe. Now you can see it, Simple Analytic Techniques for Quantitative Analysis. It's a big book. It's probably an expensive book, but I think it's worth a while to purchase it because it gives you a better view of what is visual analytics stands for. The other second book is Visualize This, the Flow Data Guide to Design Visualization and Analytics. It's by Nathan Yu, and he is a good friend of mine, and he is, like myself, a big R supporter. In this class, I will talk over my presentation about 2 types of software application that we are going to use. One is a spreadsheet, and the other one is Adobe Illustrator. The spreadsheet that you're going to use in the class is basically free, so there is no problem. With regard to Adobe Illustrator, if you the issue is you can use the USF apps website that you would need to log on to it in order for you to start the Adobe Illustrator from the server, from the web USF server, and to apply that will be great. So you will not need to buy Adobe packages. It's quite expensive, even though it's $45. So again, this is the option. Adobe Illustrator is for graphic designers, and usually it is as complementary to what we're going to learn using the open source application. Your syllabus, as you see it, consists of several elements. One is personal blog. I want all of you to have a personal blog because I think it is really important to show the world what you have learned and to show your portfolio to the world. You will be able to create your own visual analytic graphics in it and display it. So this is really important. Every week we will have an assignment that you will post on your blog. We will have 3 quizzes to make sure that we cover and everyone understand that if there will be a problem, I will try to communicate with the students to make sure that the quizzes are clear and everything is clear. This is my objective, and I will declare what is each one of us objective and what can we do to accomplish that. Then you're going to have a visual peer review. What is a visual peer review? The ability to see other work in of your peers and to give them evaluation. Why is it so important? One of the things that we learn in studies shows that we are learning not only from our instructors or professor, we're also learning from each other. So you're going to have a peer review in order for you to better understand how your peers see your work and how can you make it better, and you will have a framework that allowed you to do that. And the final project in this class is 60%. I know it's a lot, but this is a project that you will take a data set, you're going to analyze it based on a framework that we're going to learn in class, and I will post the final project outline next week in the beginning of the semester. So this is the syllabus, this is the outline. it's really important that you will have a blog. You can do it in Blogger, you can do it in WordPress or any other platform you like. I don't care, as long as you have something that is on the web and it's not produced by Microsoft Office. Really important to me. Okay, so let's start with the class and let me go over what we are going to do in today. One of the things that I need to cautious you is that we are going to learn or going to encounter many definitions of the term visual analytics. It is considered to be the science of analytic reasoning facilitated by interactive visual interface. This is by Thomas and Cook in 2005. And you, in the next slide, you will see a different visual analytic definition that sees something else. So again, it is not something that is established. It is still work in progress, and that's what makes this class so much fun, because you will see the work in progress, see how companies treat visual analytics and why is it so important that you will understand. One of the definitions that by Kim and et al. In 2008 gave to the term visual analytic is that it consists of data, visualization, knowledge, and models. And I will talk about that throughout the semester, but it is also important to understand what is the term visual or visualization stands for. The term visualize is to form a mental image. The term visualization, in comparison, is the process of representing abstract data as image that aid in understanding the meaning of the data. We need to have more definition, right? Yes. So another term that also go hand in hand with visual analytics is the term information visualization, which stands for the communication of abstract data through the use of interactive visual interfaces, as I gave you beforehand. So as you can see, everyone's talking about visual interface as part of their definitions, and it's important to highlight that because there is no one single term. The term data visualization stands for a representation of data that may take a form of animation, a map, or a chart, or a simple picture. So it is the idea of representing the data. And one of the things that we will learn in this class is interactive visualization. How do we create interactive visualization in this class? So the issue of interactive is that we need to provide the human input into the data. It's not only us that needs to design it. You need to give the user the ability to do that and the ability to have a response time that allows the user to see the effect of his selection. But basically what we are talking about is terminology, and in the terminology we are talking about data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. And each one of them has a very concise idea what it stands for. And if we look at the dictionary, we will follow those definitions. But I would like to take a different point of view of those definitions, and I will use McDonald 2011 that established a diagram of data, knowledge, and wisdom. And what he says that data is basically raw data, which means it can be number, it can be a single word, but the next level is the term that the data has the meaning for. So in the information is the meaning of the data. The next level is the knowledge, which is the context of the information and the data, and the wisdom is what we need to do to apply this set, which means that in this case he showed the idea of a single traffic light, and we have the idea what it stands for and what is it embedded, and we see that the traffic light I'm driving towards has turned red, and the meaning of it, I need to stop the car in order for me to avoid accident and doing some damage. So this is where the data, information, knowledge, and wisdom come into play that we interact on a daily basis. The data can also be converted into raw data, and we will see the difference between stars and raw data that we have from the website, and what did they do in order for us to do that. There is people that are specialized in collecting data, and so the people who works with the star usually has people that collect the data. In the case of data that we have on our data set, there's people that collect it, and it's very important for us to understand. So what is data? This is all around us. The data is the value assigned to a thing. Example, if I will look at good example is the Google Analytics. Google Analytics is application that count how many people visit your website. So what does it do? He takes the counter or the file that sort the data, how many people visit your website right now, and he give you the time set. Example, last year, how many people visit your website. He give you the traffic channel. He give you the active users. He give you the dates. He give you the country. And he give you the time set that they visit the website. And what marketing goal did you achieve? Those are important aspects that the data that is the website log provide us to do. So the definition of data, according to Wikipedia, is the data as a general fact referred to the fact that something exists in information and knowledge. It's represented or coded in some form or suitable form for the usage or process. In the computer programming, it's the process that we are often use. It can be measured by numbers, text, and etc. So the data can be sorted by statistical and algorithm. It can be sorted by theory or model, statistical theory or philosophical theory, or the human experience. What I have experienced when I'm driving and how do I react to it is different when Google is trying to accomplish nowadays a car that drives by itself. It consists of their own model, their own algorithm that they collected in order for that to run. Both of us, computer versus human, drive differently, and this is something that we will see in the future come into play when we are talking about visual analytics. The issue with numbers as a raw data is that the numbers cannot speak for themselves, so that's why we're using statistics and mathematics in order for us to give them interpretation. Another form of giving the numbers interpretation is the visual. So what is the challenge? And this is not only in our class, is a challenge for all people that involve in visual analytics, is to create visualization that will embed all the characters of data, information, knowledge, and wisdom in order for the people that will see it will make more sense out of the data. So what are we going to learn in this class? We will learn, as I said, different spreadsheets. And we will also learn how those spreadsheets create the visualization. We will also learn about Adobe Illustrator and how we design. And we will also learn about visualization principles that help us to generate a visual that is more transparent to the naked eye. And this is important. We will also talk about statistics and analytics. What does it entail? In statistics, we will learn about descriptive, inferential, and predictive models, and we will see how it helps us to visualize it. So the goal of this class is to understand the core principle of visual analytics. We will look at examples from the past and from the present. We will look at and we will experience firsthand in application how the application allowed us to visualize, and in try to incorporate those principles that we learned from our textbooks with regard to interactive visualization of your own. So in this class, we will learn about special software application. In compared to any other professors in USF, I am very keen on the idea of open source. Why? The idea of open source is that it's open. It's open to everyone, and everyone can do adaptation to the code themselves. And this is really important. Why? Because it's not that you do the same thing again and again. You have the ability, you have the tools, you have the freedom. You do not have to pay it to do adaptation like any other software. So the spreadsheet that we will use has the same features like any other, open source or not open source. So it's arranged the tables based on row and columns, and each value has predefined relationship to other values, and this is really important for us to understand. A little bit of history about the spreadsheet. It started a long time ago, but the first paper-based spreadsheet was created by the Post Office Saving Bank in England in 1869, where when you went to the bank, you used to have a clerk that signed his name, signed the amount of money that you deposit, gave a signature, an actual signature of the bank, official signature, and ask you to sign the paperwork in order for them to keep track of your money that you put into the bank. Nowadays, we started to see more evaluation or software applications that do the same thing. But the thing is, we need to always remember the history, because the history tells us something about the future. And the first history was in the mid-70s that Dan Bricklin created the first software application that actually was the foundation of Microsoft Excel. And this is how it looks. It didn't look so sexy. It didn't have visual interfaces as we all see nowadays, but it did the work, but it was slow, and not many people understand what it entailed. Nowadays, I'm sure that most of you are familiar with Microsoft Excel. The issue that we will learn from Microsoft Excel that he makes a lot of automatic assumptions when we enter the data. And the problem begins when we enter a large set of data. It usually, because it has so many automatical functions or automatical functionality, he sometimes overrides what we have put into the data set, and sometimes can be destroyed. So Microsoft Excel is not a solution that most companies nowadays in the market use in order for them to sort the data. And this is important for you to understand why Microsoft Excel is not a good capture or representation of visual analytics. We will also learn about Google, what Google provides us. We will learn example on Fusion Table that Google provide. You provide a data set that you take from the web, and he give you not only visual analytics, but he give you a map of what it does. So you will have an assignment on that subject and how it will entail. We will also look at Plotly. Plotly is a Canadian company in Montreal, and they also give you the ability to create your own application. You need to sign in, you need to create a username and a password, but it is a fun application. But the problem is the interface or the browser cannot keep a large set of data. You cannot keep data on the browser more than 1 million records. So this is something that they are trying to deal. We will see how they deal with it, but this is an interesting experiment, and I want you to learn about that. We will focus in this class about open source R, more specifically on RStudio. We will use in those applications, we will use row and column and cells and range, and what is a label, what is a value, what is a formula, how do we set a formula in spreadsheet. But we will also use a program that used by artists and graphic designers and to create the vector images. And so you will see how the Adobe Illustrator allowed us to create a simple visualization of visual analytics out of it. So why do we visualize data? We are visual creatures. I can tell you that, yes, I read a lot of books in my lifetime, but I also saw a lot of TV. So basically, based on research, we are visual creatures. Data analysis without the visualization, we might missing something that the visual analytics help us to capture. So we take the power of the vision and put it into the power of visual analytics. We like to see things. There's two types of visualization: scientific visualization and visual analytics. Scientific visualization consists of structural data. Example, medical data. Example, data that is collected from the clouds. So those are very structural, which means that they consist of very structured set and allowed us to do use specific product in order for us to do that. Visual analytics in comparison is to synchronize large amount of multiple data that can be audio, video, text, images, and networks in order for us to combine something together. So we will learn about this multiple tasks that the visual analytics takes into place in order for us to apply that. So why are we so bad in simple visual communication or visual analytics? One of the things that we will learn from the textbooks that we will read is that sometimes, yes, the graphic is so bad that we often refers to or like to use the table in order for us to give us more sense of the data. In this example, we have a spreadsheet or table compared to histogram or the bar chart. The bar chart in the visual aspect does not give us the total amount, which is sometimes very important to the people who are looking for the sum. So this is something that we will need to face, or will need to learn how to incorporate that in order for us to present or capture better visualization. Another issue that we need to talk about, and we will talk about, is that numbers can lie. And we saw there's authors that talks about that, and we saw that in the last election where the prediction was that one candidate will win over the other, when in reality the results were different. So numbers can lie, but visualization can also lie. And in this example, the cells, yes, we have in the index three lands: the Americans, the Asian, and the Europe. But when we are looking at this visualization or this bar chart, the Asian does not look so bright, does not look ahead. So we do not basically tell the whole story that goes on here, and this is really important. I want you to see two very extraordinary video. The first one is Hans Rosling. He is from Sweden, and he created about the joy of statistics. And you will click on it. It's a good production by BBC, and he talks about how the population of over the world have changed over time, and he used visualization to illustrate that. This is the idea of why statistics and mathematics is so important in order for us to create great visualization. The other video is the one of my favorite video. This is a guy that is in open source R. His name is Handley Wickman, and he is the creator of ggplot2, a package that we will learn how to use in open source R or RStudio, and we will see what does it entail and how does he do that. He is from Australia, and so you will learn from him what it was his objective and how he did it. We will cover different types of application. So you will need to create a username for Taboo, and for Plotly, it's a username base, and so you will need to create an account in addition to your account in your blog that you need to have. In open source R or the RStudio, you will need to create or download the application to your desktop. So for the class, I highly recommend that you will have a strong desktop or application that you will have. You will need to have in order for you to operate those applications and run those applications. And yes, iPhone or any other application cannot run those applications. So I highly recommend that you will have a strong desktop accessible to you at all time. I want to finish this introduction to visual analytics to tell you how do we try to make the visual analytics tell a story. So what is a plot? A plot usually starts with a simple understanding that this is how the data is being distributed, right? Yes. But if we will tell a story out of it, and we will tell the story by using a little analytics and a little bit visualization, we can tell a story. And this is your objective. In your visual analytics application that you will do throughout the semester, you're going to tell a story that your peers in the class will review, your instructor will review, and maybe your next job is that you will need to create those visualizations to tell a story. So the idea here is that the plot is organized based on sequence of events, and your objective is to make those events more transparent using the visualization. The first stage, you explore the viewer to what is going on here. The second stage show what has been the action that was taking place, whereas the third place is the climax of the data. And of course there is a falling action which ends up where the data does not make any more sense out of it. So there is the resolution of the data. So in this case, I just created a storytelling by telling you a story with the use of visual and visual analytics. I want to end up this presentation with R. And yes, the R stands for the 18th letter of the alphabet, but it is more than that. In 1976, the project was first discussed in Bell Labs, and it was developed, Bell Labs was a company that AT&T purchased and then dissolved the Bell Labs, but they did a lot of innovation things, and one of the people that worked in Bell Labs was Chambers, who is right now working in Stanford, and he created a language, S-language, in order for it to apply to the marketplace using statistical analysis. But as I told you, Bell Lab was dismissed, was taken apart, and in 1995, two professors from New Zealand adopted this language and created a new language based on their first name, Ross and Robert, and they call it R. And what they did was create an application. In this video, I will not show you the video. You will click on the YouTube link that I gave you in this page. You will see a company that Microsoft a year and a half ago purchased called Revolution Analytics. And what they do is to visualize or visual analytics to the data on the website. And so this company uses open source R as their platform in order for them to help their clients to understand what is it entail. So what is open source? As I said before, it's free to use, it's free to distribute it, allowed you to add adaptation and receive the support from fans and supporters in order for us to help that. I'll show you how you can get help with regard to R. My job is to help you, but if you want to do more advanced work, I'll show you the resource out there that is available for you to do. I want to end up with example of the students in my class that did work. This is work in Plotly. This is something that they did about media use of pizza and how they use it from magazine, newspaper, radio, and TV. This is a student's Kelly Hell work in R, in ggplot2. And this is Kenneth Becker work that he used with regard to students with regard to a Twitter account and how he took data from Twitter. I'll show you an example. How can you take, with the use of open source R, you can take the data from Twitter, download it, and try to analyze it based on main actors in Twitter. So the new challenges and the opportunities in the fields, this is United Ideas, and they are calling always to call new solutions and new ideas, and I strongly encourage you to take part of it. So your first week in this class, you're going to first assignment is to build your blog. The blog is your present. I don't care what blog you're going to use. Is it USF or is it other platform? It doesn't make me. It does. I don't care. It can be any platform you like. You're going to share your blog in the discussion board. So every student in the class will know, if they are looking for help, they know how to look at your blog. And I want you to have open discussion on that, because this is important, because I don't believe in copying, I believe in learning. What can you learn when you see other people, what they did? What can you learn from it? And your first assignment for the blog, which is next week, is describe your first visualization that caught your eyes in the recent weeks. And read chapter 1 from a textbook. That's it. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you will like the class, and I hope you will ask questions. I like to repeat, what is your job? Your job is to ask questions. My job is to answer your question. If we will be able to do that, I think you will learn more about visual analytics and why is it so important. Until next time, I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.